Upfront and Outspoken with Bob Williams. If you love the Constitution,
man is not free unless government is limited.
If you love freedom,
as government expands, liberty contracts.
If you believe in personal responsibility, if you believe America is still the greatest nation on earth, then get ready for an experience you'll never forget. This is Upfront and Outspoken. Here's your host, Bob Williams.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
And welcome back. This is Upfront Outspoken for your Wednesday. Yes, it is now time for my weekly rant. No, I did not play my normal theme music when I have a rant, but it is my rant day. What am I going to rant about? I'm going to rant about the fact that our men and women in blue. Now, if you're saying, okay, that's the Air Force. No, I'm talking about those who are sworn to serve and protect. Why is it that if you hear about a cop shooting of an unarmed individual, that gains national attention and it is spread all over, it is on the air constantly. You can't get around it, you can't get over it, under it, no matter what. Yet when a officer is killed in the line of duty, you're lucky if you hear maybe a 30, 60-second soundbite sometimes because it's a local officer. You might hear maybe a 3-minute segment, and that's it. It goes away. Why is that? Why do we not have the same respect for officers today that we had years ago? You know, I'm not saying there's, every cop out there is bad. I mean, you know as well as I do. No matter what you do, in what line of business or, your work, there's going to be a couple of bad apples. We know this. But don't our men and women who are sworn to serve and protect deserve reasonable respect? And I'm saying, if there is a fallen comrade, then shouldn't the media also get behind the family, get behind the officers, instead of turning around and bashing them all the time? That's all we hear about on the media, is cops being bashed. They got a tough job to do, folks. Try being a cop sometime. Going out day in, day out, doing your job, dealing with drunk drivers, dealing with family disputes, dealing with a potential hostage situation, dealing with a hostile citizenry because you are the only law that's there. There's a lot of people in today's society that wishes every cop would let the blacks go, let the minorities go, no matter what happens. I'm sorry for you folks, but my personal opinion is, if you're a crook, be on the lookout for a cop, because he's going to come after you. But these people have a tough job. They have one of the toughest jobs in America. You may not think so. We've seen all the movies where cops sitting in a donut shop or sitting in a squad car doing nothing. That's not the reality of what these men and women do. And when a comrade falls in the performance of his job, his or her job, then all you're going to hear is just a few, maybe 3-4 minute soundbite. But then they still more or less focus it on the suspect, but not on the officer, not on the officer's family. We'll focus on the bad if we see, like what happened in New York or Ferguson or elsewhere. Oh, yeah, unarmed black man, unarmed teenager, unarmed this or unarmed that, killed by a police officer. But you rarely ever hear the other side of that coin about officers who are killed in the line of duty. Such as the case back in my hometown. Wisconsin State Patrol officer. In the performance of his job, not only kills the suspect, but he himself gets killed. And what did you hear? I aired it earlier, about a 3-minute and 43-second segment. But there again, they focused more on the suspect, not on the officer. And that's the pity. That's the sad thing about today's society. We're too eager. I'm going to put it that way. We're way too eager to condemn our men and women who are sworn to serve and protect. But yet, when they do something in the performance of their job and they lose their life, how many within the community will actually stand up? Unless you know that officer personally, more than likely it's going to be, oh, well, it's just another dead cop, no big deal. I'm sorry, I can't buy that. I can't. If I was back in my hometown right now, I would be in that procession for that fallen officer. I really would. And we all need to remember that their job is not an easy one. They have one of the toughest jobs in America. As I said earlier, they have to go out. They have to face a hostile community because they are police officers, number one. They have to deal with, family disturbances, drunk drivers, accidents where you have fatalities. They have to see this. They have to deal with potential hostage situations. They have to, this is their job. They go about this every day, during their shift. And then they got to come home and shuck the office, so to speak, and become a good father, become a good husband. They have a tough job. How do you turn off what happens on your job so you can be a great father, a great husband, a great son, a great daughter? How do you just simply turn off what you see on your job every day? But these men and women who have chosen this profession, they're not drafted. They chose this profession. Have to do that. Yet we do not give them the recognition they so rightly deserve. And when we hear about, like Eric Gardner, Michael Brown, Trayvon Martin, and others, the media in general, I'm not saying us, I mean, we did air about Trayvon, we did air about Michael Brown, but, after a while, it gets just overwhelming. We did air about it. But when you hear about, quote-unquote, unarmed, right away, everybody in God's green earth is willing to get on that bandwagon and condemn the men and women in blue. And you hear it over and over and over and over again. I mean, my God, look at it in Ferguson. This has been going on since August of last year. And I look at the news, and it seems just about every couple of weeks, there's something in there about Ferguson and, regarding the police force, regarding, witnesses now retracting statements, and oh my God. But we don't hear about the men and women who are sworn to serve and protect, who have died in the performance of their job, their performance of their duty to serve and to protect. They only deserve a byline. Why is that? Why is it? Think about that. Why is it we only give them a momentary recognition for what they have done, for their duty to their communities? You know, you won't see in Fond du Lac the entire city getting behind in this funeral procession. You're going to see a lot of patrol cars, and you're going to see, you know, police from all over the state being representative at the funeral procession. But how many actual citizens in Fond du Lac are going to stand up and say, this guy, he did his duty, I'm proud of him, I may not know him, but I'm getting involved, I'm going to show my support, I'm going to be there for the family? How many? I'll bet you a dime to a donut, there won't be many at all. His friends, his family will be there. Other from the law enforcement will be there. But that's it. That's it. Is that all we have to offer our men and women who serve and protect when they fall in the line of duty? Is that what we have come to as a society, that we refuse to acknowledge what these people do for us? You know, there are so many in our society today that are willing to condemn police. I don't care for what it is. You are so willing to jump on the bandwagon the second you hear about a police officer killing somebody. But half the time, you do so with blinders on. You don't know all the facts. And when the facts come out, you're coming up with conspiracy theories to condemn our local law enforcement. And yet when one falls in the performance of their job, you walk away. You don't want no part of it. Why is that? Why is it? Have we as a society taught our children to hate police? Or has it been a gradual transition? It had to start somewhere. Where did it start? Where did it start that we started hating our police? Where did it start? Isn't it time we turn that around and start supporting our police? Isn't it? There's more good cops out there than there are bad. And I'm not going to say there aren't some bad cops out there. Those are the ones you want to root out. But overall, cops are good. Cops are good people. They're like you, like me, but they have a tough job to do. And we don't recognize that when one of them falls protecting us. We don't. You know, had that guy in Fond du Lac gotten away with, killing a cop and he was still on the loose, I'll lay you odds there have been more people that were killed. Because there's already a possibility someone else was killed prior to this, shootout in Fond du Lac. And this officer gave his life to stop a suspect who was deranged in my book. He was deranged. And yet, what we're going to hear is a lot of the investigation going on, and, I can already bet there are going to be people in Fond du Lac that are going to side with the crook. I've seen things on Facebook. I've seen things on Twitter. I've seen things elsewhere. And it disturbs me in that every time a officer falls in the line of duties, there are so many out there that says, good, that's one less cop. That's one less cop. Where is your morality? Where is it? Did you leave it at home? Did you forget? This is a husband. This is a father. This is a mother. This is a wife, a husband, a son, a daughter. Did you forget that? Excuse me. Did we forget that? I think we have. So I want you to think about this. Before you go out on your next rampage about an officer doing his job, make sure you get the facts first. Get all the facts, not just segments, not just innuendos or rumors. Get the facts. If he's a bad cop, yes, he needs to be disciplined. If he's a good cop doing his job, walk up to him, shake his hand, say, "Well done, officer." You know, more often than not, you're finding that a lot of people that are killed because of an officer shooting, at one point, they have made the choice to obstruct, resist, whatever you want to the officer's requests. You know, so before you go about and supporting Michael Brown, Trayvon, you know, and I shouldn't say Trayvon because that was a whole different scenario, but Michael Brown, Eric Gardner, others, remember one thing. The officer is first going to ask you to cooperate. I don't care if it was a chokehold that killed a guy. I don't care about that. But everything indicates this. In every single one of these shootings, the officer first asks you to cooperate. There was a point in time when these individuals, unarmed or otherwise, decided they were going to resist. They were going to do whatever they could to resist that officer. Either they charged at the officer, they grabbed a rock, whatever. They made that choice to resist. And like I said, I don't care if it was Eric Gardner, I don't care if it's Michael Brown, I don't care who it is, but there is a point in the subconscious where you say, I am going to resist. I am going to fight this cop because I think I can get away with it. You're not going to. This officer is there with one intent, to serve and protect his community. And if you become a threat, he's going to do what he has to either apprehend you or in many cases, a fatal shot is fired. But I want everybody to get back to what I was saying earlier, is that we are so willing to condemn our police officers. Yet when a officer falls in the line of duty, no one wants to come to the plate and say, I'm here to support you. I may not have known this officer personally. I don't know his family. But as a member of the community, I am here to support him or her. I am here to show my support for my law enforcement. You know, that's all. You know, how hard is that to show support? To show support for our men and women who are sworn to serve and protect. They have the toughest job. And yet, few people are willing to walk up to the next officer they see and say, Officer, I want to shake your hand. You're doing a great job. And with that, it's time for me to get out of here. Stay tuned, because coming up after NPR News, Ed Till will be with you till 4 o'clock. Until tomorrow, 6 a.m., this is Bob Williams. Take care of yourselves.